So let's start looking at some other things. Move tool is, we know what our artboard tool is. This is a marquee tool, and a marquee tool can affect things that are raster based. And raster based is pixels. If you look over here at this rectangle that we have here, it is called a smart object, which means that it's vector based. It's almost like an Illustrator document that is created out of mathematics. But so this cannot affect this because it's not raster based. It's not made out of pixels yet. So I'm going to go over to this next image right here to kind of show you this is pixel based. And so we can take this marquee tool and we can create a marquee, and then notice that I'm moving the marquee, but I'm not moving the image. That's because I have not selected the move tool. So we can click up to the move tool, and now we can move this around. Now if I stop moving this around and I deselect this, then this will just imprint over the top of the photograph. It's not a separate item right now. So you can see over here in the layers, it's one layer. So if we wanted to, I'm going to Command Z and deselect, which is Command D. If I wanted to kind of take this image and bring it above this photograph so that when if I deselect the marquee, it wouldn't just flatten everything out and I couldn't do anything underneath that marquee. So let's take the marquee and let's take and select that, and then instead of just going to the move tool and moving it around, which I don't want to do, I can go File, I can go Edit and Cut and Edit and Paste. And I can see that it is a separate layer so that no matter what I do with this layer, it's not going to affect the underneath layer. So I'd probably have to like tweak this over, tweak it up until it was in the same position, and then I could flatten this out and it'd be one photograph again. But that's the marquee tool, and you also have an elliptical marquee tool. I'm going to Command Z this back to one layer. Notice that I can only do one Command Z. That's only one undo, one redo in Photoshop. But if you go up here to the history, you can see that you can actually put it back into previous iterations of this particular photo. So I can go all the way back to when it was one flattened image. So let's Command D, let's deselect that. The elliptical tool, we can create a circle. If you want to create an exact circle, hold the shift key down and then take the move tool, and now I can move it around like that. There's also the a single row of pixels, either horizontal or vertical. Never ever use those. The next thing is the Lasso Tool, and I'm going to deselect this, Command D, and I could kind of try and eyeball around this flower. And then I gotta go to the move tool, move that around. That's not very easy to do. Then you have the Polygonal Tool. I'm going to Command D, deselect that, and then go kind of click, click, click. You have a little bit more control over where this marquee is going to end up. So I'm gonna continue all the way around because it's gonna take too long. And then you can see that a little bit better. Then underneath that we have the magnetic lasso. So I'm going to deselect again, and let's see if the magnetic lasso is going to try and find the edges. It's pretty good. Oop. There we go. So it's a little bit better Didn't get it all, but that's close. So that's the magnetic lasso. Then we have cancel. Then we have don't apply. There we go. Deselect, Command D. Then we have our quick selection tool. So we can kind of, so it's selecting the that's pretty good. Deselect, Command D. Don't apply, Command D. Then we also have the magic wand, which kind of grabs things that have the similar shading and hue to them. Notice it's grabbing down there. And then if I kind of move that around, you can see it's kind of grabbed portions of that flower. Deselect. If I wanted to crop in on this, the crop tool, you can drag this down and crop in tight to this. And then either double click. Notice I can move it all around as well in the crop space. Double click will crop it, or pressing this check mark will crop it. If you ever get into a position where nothing's happening and it won't allow you to do anything, always check to see if this is highlighted. And if it's highlighted, you want to click on it to exit out and go to the next step, and then you'll be able to do stuff. The eyedropper tool we've already talked about, and that'll grab color. The 3D material, that's for 3D modeling. You can grab materials. The color sampler, never use. Notes, you can put notes on the page. 1, 2, 3 count tool, never use that. The ruler tool is really interesting. You can actually straighten a photo out if you wanted to. So if I look at this, notice that the horizon of the ocean is all whacked out. I can take the ruler and click and drag that ruler along the edge of the horizon like that, and then go up to image, and then rotate canvas, and then arbitrary. And that's the percentage that that ruler has just created, has measured. And then click OK, and now you can see that that horizon is now straight. Rulers also help you measure things, like if I want to see how wide it was from here to here, it's going to show you the width up here. If I want to measure from top to bottom, if I hold the shift key down to keep it straight, and there's the height right there. So the measurement tool is good. Then we get into, this is all photo manipulation, photoshopping, magazine covers, fashion covers, getting rid of blemishes and red eye and stuff like that. The next thing down is the brush tool, and the brush tool allows you to kind of draw. If the brushes are too big or too small, you can hit the bracket key. The right bracket key makes things bigger, and the left bracket key makes things smaller. Pencil tool, really small, you can see it down here. Color replacement tool, never used. Mixed brush tool, never used. The clone stamp tool is pretty cool. I'm going to make this bigger brush. And so the clone stamp is, you want to pick up a color. So if you hold the option key down, there's a crosshair. It says this crosshair is pick this area up and then put it down over here. Like that. You can see that as I go up the page, it's grabbing whatever is in that area. Pattern stamp tool, never used, don't worry about it. The history brush, art history brush tool, never use those. Eraser, you can erase things. Background eraser, seems to do the same thing. Magic eraser. Oh, there you go. You can erase large areas. Let's see, the gradient tool. Can do that. The paint bucket tool can fill. The blur tool never use that much. Smudge tool. You can see what that's doing. It almost feels makes it feel like there's liquid on the page. We have the dodge and burn tool, sponge tool. Never use those. The pen tool is good if you want to be even more precise in selecting areas. Like if I do this with the pen tool. And so I've created that shape with the pen tool. And then if you go over to paths, this is the shape that I've just created. And then you can go make selection. Now feather is, so it's not a harsh edge. So it's feather radius 1 pixel. And we go up to the move tool and we can pull that apart. So that's what the pen tool does. And all these other pen tools can adjust the pen line, the path line. Then we have the type tool, and you'll use this a lot. Let's go back to the app, and maybe you want to have some type right here. You type it out. Now notice how small this type is. Say if this is body copy, remember body copy should be around 16 pixels per inch, and that 16 pixels should be doubled or between doubled and tripled, so it should be between 32 and 48 for it to work on this Photoshop document. So if we go over to paragraph, character, okay, so that type is 16 pixels, and if we want it to be good for this app, change to 32. That's double between 32 and 48, so let's try 40 and make it regular and make the leading, let's just do auto for now. Now I did Times New Roman, and as you know, it's better to do a sans serif in this design, but then you can move it around and you can adjust it. Then we have the path selection tool, which we can grab points on the path and move it around. The direct selection tool, we can grab the entire path and move it around. Shape tools, we did the rectangle, rounded rectangle. Again, that creates that rounded edge you can see right there. Ellipse, Polygon Tool. Right now it's a triangle, but if you just click on it, it gives you options. How many sides do you want? I want 6. Do you want a star? Sure. And then click OK. And then you have that 6-point star as many times as you want. The hand tool moves things around. And this is also the spacebar tool, will help you move things around. So if I have the move tool and I hit the spacebar, it brings the hand up. This is zoom in. Hold the option key, zoom out. Or again, you can do spacebar option and then move your mouse left and right. It'll zoom in and zoom out, and wherever that magnifying glass, that's the center of the zoom.